I'd like to call the caucus to order. First piece of legislation is to purchase a snow plow package from Glen Hill Road Machinery Company. Comments?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. The street superintendent informed me he'd like to see this go emergency tonight so that the build out can be the same as when the cab and chassis come in, and then it can all be put together at one time.
Okay, any other comments? Next one's from transportation. It's for part-time seasonal positions for the summer rec program. Comments?
Just like to see this passed tonight.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, the next one's from council as a whole, and I believe this is to add an additional place for criminal background checks. So that way when we have the new employees who come in to work for the rec program, they can now go to the Bureau of Motor Vehicles at Eastwood Mall. Comments? I believe, Marty, you'd like to have that passed?
Yes, please.
Any comments? Okay, next is the ordinance for temporary seasonal part-time summer positions for the water department.
The board already passed their resolution.
Okay. So the board passed theirs, we probably should pass ours. Any other comments? Next one's from streets, and that's part-time summer positions for the streets and parks.
Yes, Dale said he would be fine with this going first reading tonight.
Other comments? The next one's from planning commission, that's a refund for the zoning permit for Clean Energy Future, Lordstown. I believe we should get that passed. I believe they're waiting for that money. Any other comments? And the next one's from the planning commission, also a resolution accepting the recommendation from the planning commission that a replat fee in connection with the Clean Energy Future project be waived. I believe we'd like to see that passed also. Any other comments? Okay, hearing none, are there any questions on the minutes from March 21st? Hearing none, are there any questions on the bills? Hearing none, is there anything from council? One thing I'd like to bring up, I did get a letter from Ralph Smith from Scope, and you know, they need 20% community participation financially for the Scope Center. They're once again asking for $4,500, so between us and the school it'd be $9,000. Our share would be $4,500. I believe, you know, if council looks favorably on that, we'll have to have an ordinance at the next meeting. Any comments? Okay, Bill, if you want to put that on the agenda for finance. Anything else council would like to discuss at this time? I've been requested to have an executive session to discuss contract negotiations. At the end of the meeting, there will be no action taken after that.
Mr. Mayor, I'll be making a motion under new business too. I spoke with Mr. Dietz and Mr. Blank before the meeting, and if council feels favorable about donating $500 towards the Memorial Day service. In the past we've given, it was either $300 or $350, but Tom said the flowers keep going up and stuff. So he would like to see 500, and if that's more than they need, he said they will return the unused money, but we usually donate to the Lions Club and they do the purchasing. So I'll make a motion in that effect.
Okay. Anything else council wants to discuss before we adjourn the caucus and go to the regular meeting? Okay, caucus is adjourned. I'd like to welcome everybody to Lordstown Village Council meeting. If you'll please stand and join me in the Lord's Prayer and Pledge of Allegiance. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, power, and the glory forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Bill, can we have roll call, please?
Mayor Hill.
Present.
Mr. Vaughn.
Here.
Mr. Mansell.
Present.
Mr. Radka.
Present.
Mrs. Jones.
Present.
Mr. Shealy.
Present.
Mr. Reader.
Present.
Clerk Klein present. Treasurer George Ebley.
Here.
Vito Abrazino.
Present.
Police Chief Brett Milholm. Present. Fire Chief Travis Eastham. Planning and Zoning Economic Development Kelly Bordner.
Present.
Parks, Buildings and Grounds Street Commissioner Dale Grimm. Present. Recreation Marty Gibson.
Here.
Board of Public Affairs.
Here.
Municipal Engineer Chris DeGelda. Present.
Entertaining a motion to excuse Travis, still on second shift.
So moved.
Moved by Reader, second.
Second.
Second Shealy, comments, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Entertain a motion for adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Jones, second.
Second.
Second by Radka, comments, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Entertain a motion for disposal of the minutes of the regular meeting held March 21st, 2016.
So moved.
Moved by Radka, second.
Second.
Second by Reader, comments, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Entertain a motion for payment of the bills.
So moved.
Moved by Shealy, second.
Second.
Second by Radka, comments, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Only thing for the mayor's report, the latest date to be closing on the power plant financially is supposed to be Wednesday. It's been going on and we keep finding, or they keep finding, little I's what aren't dotted and little T's what aren't crossed, but Wednesday should be the day. And if there is, I'm sure you'll see a lot on the news, because the news media has been calling me every 2 days asking me when the power plant's going to be closing. So if it's Wednesday, I'm sure Wednesday night it'll be on the news. That's it for the mayor's report. Is there a clerk's report?
No report, Mayor.
Solicitor's report?
No report.
Treasurer's report?
No report.
Board of Trustees of Public Affairs report?
Yeah, we have a meeting Monday,
April the 11th.
2:30, 3:30, to discuss different items.
Okay, thanks. Any questions for Tom? Village Engineers report?
No report tonight. Thank you.
Okay, any questions for Chris? Special reports, Police Chief Milholm.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I've submitted my monthly report for March. Answer any questions if you have any. The only other thing I have is just to update you on the abandoned junk vehicles that were originally located on Ohio Edison property. Of the 26 vehicles that were removed from Ohio Edison property and staged at the old coal yard, Mr. Holton claimed 9 of them at the time that I left work today. Today is the last day. Today's day 10. Unless he claims some more after I left work today, he will have claimed 9. So we'll get started very shortly on removing those and having them towed to the scrapyard.
Okay, any questions for Brent?
Yes. Brent, has there been any movement anyway or anything new to report on the railroad tracks up here on Salt Springs?
No, sir. The last meeting we had involved Capri Cafaro. She had asked me to send all of the documentation that I had on it to her legal aid, which I did, and I've not heard anything yet.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay, Travis is excused. Planning and Zoning Administrator and Director of Economic Development, Kelly.
No report.
Any questions for Kelly? Okay, Parks, Grounds, Building, Street Superintendent, Mr. Grimm.
No report this evening.
Questions for Dale? Okay, Recreation, Marty.
No report.
Any questions for Marty? Bill, do we have any correspondence this evening?
No correspondence.
Okay, public remarks. If you'd like to make a public remark after I acknowledge you, please come to the microphone and give your name and address so we can get it recorded in the minutes correctly. Public remarks. Hearing none, are there any council remarks? Hearing none.
Mr. Mayor, I do have one remark. Last council meeting, what it was on the record, I thanked several groups, the council and department heads and everybody, and I left a couple out that I felt bad after the meeting. It dawned on me. I think some of the major players in getting this energy center here, and I forgot to mention them, is the Board of Public Affairs. I know they, along with Mr. Kojelnik, was in several meetings with Warren and Niles. Some of them, I was in there with them, and I know that they spent a lot of time on this, and I forgot to thank them, and I would like to thank Mr. Blank, too, because I know he has done a lot on making sure the finances are going where they're supposed to be, how they had to be handled and stuff like that. And I just forgot to mention them at the last meeting. I'd like to be on record thanking them tonight.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other council remarks? Hearing none, committee reports, finance, Mr. Radka.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Questions for Ron? Parks, buildings, grounds, general improvements, streets and sidewalks, Mrs. Jones.
Yes, we have the one piece of legislation we'd like to see passed emergency tonight, and the other one for the summer help can go first reading. That's all I have.
Any questions for Karen? Public safety and welfare, Mr. Reader.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, just to, I know our safety committee is aware of it, and Mr. Grimm is, and so are you. That this Wednesday, we have a representative coming in. We're going to take her around to the 6 signals that we want to replace this year. So that'll be done Wednesday, and we can get a bid off of that company then. That's all.
Okay, any questions for Don? Public utilities, Mr. Bond.
I have no report this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Questions for Bob? Transportation, recreation, and senior services, Mr. Shealy.
Just the 2 pieces of legislation I'd like to see get passed tonight.
Any questions for Howard? Okay, Bill, if we could have the first piece of legislation.
From council as a whole for emergency passage. An ordinance authorizing the purchase of one new 2016 snow and ice removal truck package from Gledhill Road Machinery Company for the ODOT Cooperative Purchasing Program and declaring an emergency.
Comments or motions?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the reason we would like to see this passed emergency tonight is because if we do that emergency, it'll get built out about the same time the chassis comes in, and then it can be assembled and delivered to us. So I will make the motion to suspend the rules.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Radka, roll call, please.
Mr. Bond?
Yes.
Mr. Mansell?
Yes.
Mr. Reader?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes?
Mr. Radka?
Yes.
Mr. Shealy?
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays, motion carried to suspend the rules. Is there a motion to adopt? Moved by Shealy, second.
Second.
Second by Bond. Comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Shealy?
Yes.
Mr. Reader?
Yes.
Mr. Radka?
Yes.
Mr. Mansell?
Yes.
Mr. Bond?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays, motion carried to adopt ordinance 37, 2016. Next, please.
From Transportation, Senior Services, Planning and Zoning and Recreation Department Committee for emergency passage. An ordinance amending and restating ordinance number 21, 2015, creating various seasonal part-time employment positions for the summer 2016 recreation program, setting wages for the same, and declaring an emergency.
Comments or motions?
Motion to suspend rules?
Motion to suspend the rules by Radka. Is there a second?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Second by Reader. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Radka?
Yes.
Mr. Shealy?
Yes.
Mr. Bond?
Yes.
Mr. Reader?
Yes.
Mr. Mansell?
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays, motion carried to suspend the rules. Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Moved by Shealy, second.
Second.
Second by Radka. Comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Reader?
Yes.
Mr. Mansell?
Yes.
Mr. Bond?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Shealy?
Yes.
Mr. Radka?
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays, motion carried to adopt ordinance 38, 2016. Next, please.
From council as a whole for emergency passage, an ordinance amending and restating ordinance number 49, 2006, requiring that all new employees 18 years and older, full, part-time, temporary, seasonal, compensated, or uncompensated, shall be required to submit to a criminal background check through the office of the Trumbull County Sheriff or the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, Eastwood Mall, as a condition of being employed by the Village of Lordstown, and declaring an emergency.
Comments or motions?
Suspend the rules.
Motion by Shealy to suspend the rules, second.
Second.
Second Bond. Roll call, please.
Mr. Shealy?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Radka?
Yes.
Mr. Bond?
Yes.
Mr. Rader?
Yes.
Mr. Mansell?
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays, motion carried to suspend the rules. Motion to adopt.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Moved by Reader, second.
Second.
Second Radka. Comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bond?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Radka?
Yes.
Mr. Mansell?
Yes.
Mr. Shealy?
Yes.
Mr. Reader?
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays, motion carried to adopt ordinance 39, 2016. Next, please.
From Board of Public Affairs for emergency passage. An ordinance creating temporary seasonal part-time summer positions within the Water Department of the Village of Lordstown for the 2016 season and declaring an emergency.
Comments or motions?
Motion to suspend the rules.
Motion by suspend the rules by Shealy, second.
Second.
Second by Radka. Roll call, please.
Mr. Rader?
Yes.
Mr. Shealy?
Yes.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Yes.
Mr. Mansell?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Bond?
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays, motion carried to suspend the rules. Motion to adopt,
So moved.
moved by Radka, second.
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Second by Reader, comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Mansell?
Yes.
Mr. Bond?
Yes.
Mr. Rader?
Yes.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Yes.
Mr. Shealy?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays, motion carried to adopt ordinance 40, 2016. Next, please.
From Streets, Sidewalks, Public Parks, Building, Grounds, and General Improvement Committee for emergency passage. An ordinance amending and restating ordinance number 24, 2015, creating temporary seasonal part-time summer positions within the street and parks departments of the village of Lordstown for the 2016 season and declaring an emergency.
Comments or motions? Hearing none, I declare this ordinance had its first reading. Next, please.
From Planning Commission for emergency passage. A resolution authorizing the clerk of the village of Lordstown to refund the sum of $12,332.80 to Clean Energy Future Lordstown LLC because of an overpayment of the fee for a conditional zoning permit for the Clean Energy Future Lordstown project and declaring an emergency.
Comments or motions?
Motion to suspend the rules.
Motion by Shealy to suspend the rules, second.
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Second by Reader, roll call, please.
Mr. Bond?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Mansell?
Yes.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Yes.
Mr. Reader?
Yes.
Mr. Shealy?
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays, motion carried to suspend the rules. Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Moved by Bond, second.
Second.
Second by Jones. Comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Shealy?
Yes.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Bond?
Yes.
Mr. Reader?
Yes.
Mr. Mansell?
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays, motion carried to adopt Resolution 3, 2016. Next, please.
From Planning Commission for emergency passage, a resolution accepting the recommendation from the Planning Commission that a replat fee in connection with Clean Energy Future Lordstown project be waived and declaring an emergency.
Comments or motions?
Motion to suspend the rules.
Motion by Radka to suspend the rules, second.
Second.
Second by Shealy. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Yes.
Mr. Shealy?
Yes.
Mr. Reader?
Yes.
Mr. Mansell?
Yes.
Mr. Bond?
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays, motion carried to suspend the rules. Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Moved by Shealy, second.
Second.
Second by Radka. Comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bond?
Yes.
Mr. Mansell?
Yes.
Mr. Reader?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Yes.
Mr. Shealy?
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays, motion carried to adopt Resolution 4, 2016. Is there any old business council would like to discuss at this time? Hearing none, is there any new business before I ask for an executive session?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we donate $500 to the Lions Club for the Memorial Day service that we host over here in the cemetery, and we've been reassured that if it is not all spent, it would be refunded to the village. It's a little higher than what we normally give them, but due to the fact that there's been an increase in costs, they're requesting $500.
Okay, everybody heard the motion by Mr. Mansell. Is there a second to the motion? Second by Jones. Comments or questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Any other new business?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ask for an executive session to go over contract negotiations, to get some feedback from the rest of council on how they would like to handle this.
Okay, everybody heard the motion. Karen would like to have a motion executive session, contract negotiations for employees. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Second by Radka. Comments or questions on the motion? There will be no action taken afterwards, right? Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Bond?
Yes.
Mr. Mansell?
Yes.
Mr. Reader?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Yes.
Mr. Shealy?
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays. I believe everybody behind the dais will be invited with the exception of you, George.
Me, I don't want to be in there.
Oh,
He doesn't.
I don't want to be in there.
you don't want to be there? Okay. Okay. Are there any additional public remarks before we adjourn to executive session? Okay, you're welcome to stay. The only action taken after executive session will be to adjourn. Thanks for coming this evening.